This video idea is by Ken. Huge thanks to him for this great idea, and comment your ideas if you have any in the comment section down below. So the Golden State Warriors have been a team that has been through a lot of ups and downs over the past 7 years. The first 5 years were basically all ups when they won 3 championships, signed Kevin Durant, and had a 73-win season, broke multiple records, and whatnot. But the last 2 years have been really tough ones for this organization, and it's not really because of bad managing or bad coaching, but moreover because of just being unfortunate. We all know that Klay Thompson suffered an ACL injury in Game 6 of the 2019 NBA Finals, and that was basically the beginning of the end for the Warriors. Well, maybe. After Klay's injury, Kevin Durant, who was injured himself, left Golden State to join forces with Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn. So coming into the 2019-2020 NBA season, the Warriors were not expected to be a top-tier team, but still a team that would make the playoffs just because of Stephen Curry's presence alone. And that didn't happen, and it's not the fault of Curry. He suffered a left wrist injury against the Suns in the 4th game of the season, which kept him out until March. And in that span of around 4 months, the Warriors, as expected, were bad. At the trade deadline, they did try to receive some great players by trading D'Angelo Russell for Andrew Wiggins to the Timberwolves, but that trade really hasn't mattered till now. The duo of Wiggins and Curry would be great, but for next season. Because by the time Curry returned from his injury, the virus, the thing that ruined our lives for the past 1.5 years, and is still somewhat ruining our lives, caught on to many people in the USA, and more importantly, it started spreading around the league. Mainly because of Rudy Gobert, but it was gonna happen anyways, and it couldn't be stopped. So for 3 whole months, us NBA fans went without a single NBA game. But Adam Silver thankfully restarted the NBA in a bubble format in Orlando, inviting 20 NBA teams to take part in a play-in tournament to advance to the NBA playoffs. The Warriors weren't invited because they had only won 15 games, and that made them the worst team. Not just in the Western Conference, but in the whole NBA. So that was just 1 season wasted of Stephen Curry's prime. The good news is that Klay would be back.
News into SportsCenter. We have been waiting for the results of the MRI for Klay Thompson. Adrian Wojnarowski with us. What can you tell us, Woj?
Matt, worst possible news for the Warriors. Klay Thompson has suffered a full tear of his right Achilles. He will miss the entire season.
Okay, that's fine. We can still draft LaMelo Ball.
With the 2nd pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Golden State Warriors select James Wiseman from the University of Memphis.
Now, Wiseman still has some time to improve, but actually a lot of time to improve and get rid of his injury, but drafting LaMelo as of now would have been the better move. But honestly, when you look at it from the Warriors front office's perspective, they really didn't know Klay was going to get injured and suffer an Achilles injury, or that Wiseman would get injured and not perform well during the season. But anyways, coming into the 2021 NBA season, people were really doubting the Warriors, and most importantly, they were doubting Stephen Curry.
Has consistently been, when it comes to making shots and decision-making with the ball, let's be honest. In the important playoff games, he's consistently been, in crunch time, a worse version of himself.
Is Dame the top point guard in the league?
Yep. Yes, he is. Because part of this stuff is predicting and trajectory. And as great as Steph Curry has been, Damian Lillard's 2 years younger and has taken the next step. I think Damian Lillard in this coming season will be the best true point guard in the NBA. When you look to this year, not only is he still his game still ascending, where Curry's has plateaued.
The media actually was right for the first 5 games, because in the 6th game of the season, Stephen Curry did this.
Derrick Jones Jr. acquired from Miami as a free agent, hounding Curry on the relocate, and Steph with the deep 2. This brilliant offense, they're going to make noise in the West. Curry around Covington, past Nurkic, lay it up and in. Allen picked up his 2nd foul, so Gary Trent Jr. has checked in. Warriors stay with the same 5 starters. And Steph Curry hitting the wing jump. Looking for Steph. Good screen by Bazemore. 3 on the way. Perfect. Set the screen, move the ball, and get that kid the ball. And then Steph off a made 3, reversing it up and in. Oh, Curry, what a first quarter.
Getting downhill, you see Cantor there. He's like, great news. Cantor's on me. Let me get around him. Super easy. Crafty finishes. And his reaction to the foul that just happened. I'm on one.
Wiseman saved the turnover. Steph cut back door. Little floater. And on top of Steph, working with Wiseman. Little leaner push shot. He's got 50. I mean, Lillard and McCollum went for 54, but Steph went for 56 by himself. Curry from deep. 59.
Why not? Man, Steph
is running into the front court. Draymond finds him. Another three. Got it. 62. 60.
And this was not a fluke, not at all, because he managed to do this for the rest of the season and win himself his second scoring title of his career. But the Warriors finished as the 8th seed, which meant that if this was any other season, they were in the playoffs. But no, this wasn't any other season. This was a season of unfortunate events for the Warriors, and they ultimately had to play in a play-in tournament versus none other than the Los Angeles Lakers. Warriors versus Lakers. Curry versus LeBron. Draymond versus Davis. Andrew Wiggins versus Kyle Kuzma.
I'm taller than you.
That is the definition of, look at the bench.
That's one where the big rebounder in the sky just evened out everything.
I don't know if I've ever seen that, Marquise. An air ball.
And that game honestly looked like it was going to go either way, since the Warriors had improved a lot throughout the course of the regular season and managed to keep up with the Lakers throughout the game. But then LeBron hit this.
Throws it back up top. James puts up the three. Oh, it's gone! LeBron James from downtown as the shot clock explodes.
Which is fine, because as the 8th seed, the Warriors had to win one game out of 2 to advance to the playoffs, making them go up against the Memphis Grizzlies led by a 21-year-old Ja Morant. This game, the Warriors had to win. The Warriors will win. But then
Curry makes his moves, finds Green. Green drives down a lane, the floater's up, no good, overtime.
So Draymond basically screwed it all up, but you can't just put all the blame on him. As much as how much I hated Draymond for the rest of that day, a huge reason why the Warriors achieved what they did last season was because of Draymond. That's why Steve Kerr, the Warriors head coach, calls Draymond the heart and soul of the team. Now, this also ended in a sad note for the Warriors. Steph would lose 2 seasons of his primes, and his legacy would be ruined. No. Like, I swear to God, people who think Steph's legacy was on the line are just idiots. They're the same people who say Jimmy Butler is an MJ's son. Okay, but anyway, Steph has done what he wanted and needed to do in his illustrious 12-year NBA career, soon to be 13. If only his legacy can improve from now onwards, not decline. So please talk with the legacy talk, because that's just not cutting it. With all of that being said, we reach the present, right now, where the Warriors signed Nemanja Bjelica, Otto Porter Jr., Andre Iguodala, and traded Eric Pascal. Just some random moves. But the good news is, and I really don't want to jinx it, Klay Thompson will be back next season. Reports say that he will miss at least the first month of action, but most likely will be back before Christmas, which is a good sign. And assuming Klay Thompson comes back to about 85 to 90%, as suggested by Ken, will the Warriors be competitive? Will they be able to match up against teams like the Lakers and the Nets? I think there's 2 key factors which goes into this. Number 1 is that Steph Curry will be 34 years old, and he really needs to play like he did this season for all of this to happen, and I think he can. Second thing is that this is all if nobody gets injured, and we can't assume injuries, so let's stay on the positive side of things. Now let's discuss what the Warriors need, and will Klay Thompson be able to fulfill it? Last season, the Warriors were 5th in defensive rating, which is really good, and Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green had a lot to do with that. But with the arrival of Andre Iguodala and returning Klay Thompson, the defense will only get better, making them probably a top 3 team defensively. I don't expect Klay Thompson to be super quick on the defensive side and lock down the perimeter, but he still could be somewhat effective. The defense is all logged up. On the offensive side of things, we know that Steph will be Steph, and Draymond will find him and get him the ball. Andrew Wiggins can provide a good 18 points per game, if not 15 points per game. It's still very nice. Iggy is just a spark that the Warriors needed, and adding Nemanja Bjelica and Otto Porter are really underrated signings who might provide some really good 3-point shooting. Now, the big question is, how good will Klay Thompson be offensively? Well, Klay's defense will not be the same, at least for a few months, but on the offense, he really just needs to get his groove back, because as a type of player he is, it just needs to happen sooner than later, so the Warriors can mesh right before the playoffs begin. And I think this team, if healthy, is a playoff lock, and most likely top 5 in the West. But now coming to the other question that Ken gave us. would they be able to beat the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals? So first of all, the Lakers ending Russell Westbrook, people just assume that the Lakers will make the conference finals, so let's assume that too, just for the sake of the video. I think the Lakers definitely have more, or you can say better, star power, but the Warriors, when you look at it, are not too far away. Their defense is, like discussed, is one of the best in the league, offense as well, and team chemistry. There are 5 players from the Warriors' 2016-73 win season still on this team, with Kawhi Looney and Iggy being the 4th and 5th ones respectively. The Warriors have the same coach, as well as Sean Livingston and Leonardo Barbosa in the coaching staff, so don't doubt their chemistry for sure. These guys know each other really well. So to sum it all up, I wouldn't say the Warriors will beat the Lakers necessarily, but there's a good possibility of it happening. And as for them beating the Nets, well, no, it's not going to happen, and as much as I wanted to, the Nets are just too stacked and talented. So guys, that's it for this video, and thanks to Ken once again for the great video idea, and go ahead and like the video if you enjoyed watching, because, well, it makes sense. If you enjoy, then why not like? You have nothing to lose. Also guys, I see that about 73% of you watching the videos aren't even subscribed, so what are y'all waiting for? If you like constant NBA content, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, and as always, let's wrap it up on a good note. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.